Hello and welcome back to On the Workbench. Today we're taking a look at my garage floor. As you can see here, my garage floor has a couple spots underneath my vehicles where there's been some grease and some oil, transmission fluid, other chemicals from doing some automotive work on my floor that I've gotten down that I want to be able to clean up just to keep my floor looking nice on my garage floor. I eventually want to go get an epoxy floor down here, but I like keeping my floor clean, and I want to show you my process for trying to get rid of this gunk and grime out of the floor. So the tools I'm going to use for this is I'm going to have a broom to sweep up any large particles on the floor. I've also got a rubber squeegee. That's about the same length as my broom, but it doesn't have to be. Nice rubber squeegee there for moving water around. And the key to this is going to be my Rust-Oleum heavy-duty degreaser. I found this product works really well for cleaning up garage floors. And so here's the before. And so I'm going to start this process by using my push broom to get rid of any surface debris and push that out. Then I'm going to use a garden hose to be able to wet down the surface. Then I'm going to put my degreasing chemical on it. Then with the degreasing chemical, I'll let it sit and then bubble up. And then we'll use the hose and go to wash it away. So now, first, to sweep. Now with my floor swept, I'm going to use my garden hose and wet the surface. And now with your safety glasses on, we can begin the process of applying the degreaser. I'm just going to use the squirt bottle here and squirt it into my problem areas on the floor. And you can usually tell some of the problem areas are the places that repel water because of there being oil present. So I'm just going to squirt this. It's going to bubble up here a little bit. Eventually we'll see it turn purple. The spots that are repelling water are the spots you want to be especially concerned about, because that means the concrete pores are probably clogged with chemicals. So with the degreaser poured out, or squirted out, you're not going to need necessarily a whole bottle of it. We'll come back again with the squeegee and make sure that the degreaser covers most of the surface. And now at this point, we're going to let the chemical sit on the floor for about 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and check on it, just leave it alone. And then we'll come back and flush it with fresh water. And I'll show you what the result after 15 minutes of waiting looks like when we get back. On our floor, we've let it sit for about 20 minutes now. And now I'm just going to walk around with my squeegee in my left hand, the camera in my right hand. And I want to show you just some of the things that I see on the floor. In particular, I'm looking for our areas that are pink. Because the areas that are pink are going to be the areas where it really picked up contaminants. Let's try over here. You can see there's a slight hue to the water that I'm picking up. So just using the squeegee, we're going to go ahead and just push all this out. Then we'll come back with a garden hose and rinse the floor. And now it's time for the garden hose. So now after going through the process, now my floor is still a little bit wet, but you can see a lot of the gunk that was there is gone. Now I didn't quite get all of the hot tire pickup from some asphalt. There's a few spots. There's still some black marks on the concrete. I didn't get that. Some more aggressive scrubbing with a scrub brush or a wire brush might help get that. But definitely got a lot of the petrochemicals out of the floor. I've done this once. The first time I did this, I had a lot of purple come up that indicated that I was getting quite a bit of oil out of the concrete. This is my second time on this floor to do it. As I think about trying to get ready to do an epoxy floor later this fall, I'm going to do this a couple times to make sure I get all the oil out of the floor, because the concrete will try to absorb the oil if possible. And I want to get all that out so it can hold the epoxy floor down. It's too humid outside right now to do a good job of for an epoxy floor. But as I'm trying to get my floor cleaned and prepped, I'm taking the long approach to trying to get to my epoxy floor so I can get all the oil out so the epoxy floor will adhere to it much better. The last place I lived in my garage, I did an epoxy floor and did the same process, and the epoxy floor held up just fine. Even if you're not doing an epoxy floor and want to clean your garage floor, I think this method works well. And one of the final things you want to pay attention to, if you do have any cast iron surfaces or metal surfaces in your garage that can rust, make sure they're out of the way. And with the waste that you're going to end up squeegeeing out under your garage door, or if you've got a garage drain, pay attention to where that drains in the event you are leaching some oil residuals out into the environment, where you may have to find a containment mechanism for that depending upon where you live and your local ordinances and regulations. So if you pay attention to that, and then also with the humidity over the summer, you may need to add some extra ventilation or a fan to help get your floor to dry out, and then you should be good. Hope you found this useful, and have a great day. Bye.